$700 million? Welcome back to the Green Beans Go channel. It's your host, me. I know we are in the thick of the NFL season right now, and 90% of my content is NFL at the moment, but we just had a record-breaking contract with Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers, so we are going to break that down right now. And if you like a guy who's always going to give you the sports news updates, hot takes at every turn, hit that subscribe button. So by now, I'm sure you have seen Ohtani's contract. This is record-breaking. We will talk about why in a second. It is a 10-year, $700 million contract for this guy in the royal blue. That is AI generated. He has not worn this yet, I don't believe. So that is a fake image. Let's go ahead and get into the details. And before we get into the details of his contract, let's talk about the largest contracts in sports history. He now breaks the record. He now has the top spot at at exactly $700 million. Now you can sit here and say, well, Lionel Messi's is less money, but it's only for 4 years. So per year yeah, I get it. Okay, so maybe soccer money runs a little deeper. Patrick Mahomes sitting at third on the list, also 10 years, $450 million. So he is almost doubled, not quite, Patrick Mahomes' salary. Patrick Mahomes is only going to play 16 games a year, whereas Ohtani's going to play 160. So that makes sense to some degree. Another soccer player with Benzema here, and then Mike Trout, Mookie Betts, and Aaron Judge, the only other baseball players we see in the top 5, 6, and 7 spot, and look at those comparisons. All right, 12 years, $426 million, 12 years, $365 million, 9 years, $360 million. So almost double per year what Trout, Betts, and Judge are getting. An absolutely massive contract. So let's take a look at some nitty-gritty details of his salary. It is $700 million for 10 years. However, he is going to defer it, and he is not going to take the $70 million per year as you would expect by basic math. So what this means is, and this was actually his idea, he sat down with the organization and he said, I want you guys to put pieces around me so that we can win World Series. And in order to have pieces around him, the Dodgers need money, and if they're paying him a ton, it's not going to happen. So what he is going to do is he's going to take less per year, but actually extend it longer. So in 10 years, in 2033, if he is no longer playing for the Dodgers, okay, he'll be in his 40s by then. If he is no longer playing for the Dodgers, they will still owe him money. So they could be paying Ohtani well into his 50s and 60s. Okay, probably not that long, but he is going to take his contract and kind of juice it and extend it for longer, even when he's not playing for them, likely, just so that now they pay him less and can put more pieces around him. Now, the details of this and what all this means for the deferral is not public right now, but I'm sure at some point it will come out. The second point is he cannot opt out of this contract. He will be a Dodger for 10 years unless the Dodgers decide they are done with him. He is having elbow surgery this year, so I think the fear was he gets the elbow surgery, he comes back and he pitches well, and he realizes, hey, I can get even more money if I go somewhere else. So he cannot opt out. He cannot up and leave the Dodgers until this contract is up. The third and final thing is he won't pitch this season. He is having elbow surgery, and so he should be fine to bat. He will bat DH for the Dodgers, but he will not pitch this season, which is interesting. And we'll talk about the Dodgers lineup and roster. I think they need a stud pitcher, and I think Ohtani will be that in later years, but right now, at least next year, 2024, he will not be that for them. Now we have the fun part, a breakdown and some fun facts about his salary. And guys, I just want you to hold on to your seat here as I break this down. It's actually pretty insane. So if we think that he is going to play 162 games a year for 10 years, that is an average of almost $500,000 per game. That's right, $432,000 on average per game for the next 10 years, even if he doesn't play. So that's pretty wild. I took his average at bats in the games he has played over the last 6 years. I plugged it in. That is an average at bat of $175,000. So every time he approaches home plate to take a swing, he gets almost $200,000. And that equates to $48,000 per inning play. There's 9 innings over the last. I mean, this is just astronomical. I would play an inning. For $50K. If he wants to just let me sub in, pinch hit for him, one at bat, he knows where to reach me here on the Green Beans Go channel. So that is insane. Now, these other statistics on the right side are for full calendar years. In other words, in the off season, this is how much he's making. I did not actually equate this to the months of him playing in the MLB. I equated it to 365 days a year. So even when he's not playing, he is getting this money. That is the equivalent of almost $8,000 per hour. What's minimum wage, right? He is making $8,000 per hour, which also equates to $133 every 60 seconds for the next 10 years. Now, lastly, I just want to talk about what this means for the Dodgers. This is their projected batting order, their projected lineup. We got Mookie Betts leading off, Ohtani, Freeman, and Will Smith, Max Muncy, James Outman, who had what I would say would be a really solid year, Chris Taylor, Jason Hayward, and Gavin Lux. I mean, that is full of bats. 8 out of these 9 guys are threats to hit home runs at every at bat, maybe 9 out of 9 guys if you count Jason Hayward, which I think you can, Gavin Lux, which I think you can. As for the pitching, though, this is really what's puzzling, and maybe the Dodgers are going to make more moves, and I think they have to make more moves if they want to compete right now. They will compete right now anyway, but we saw them go out of the playoffs early this year because of their pitching, and I think Ohtani will be the stud they need on the mound in years to come. But right now, he cannot pitch with that elbow injury, with that surgery he's having. So if you look at all their starting pitchers on their roster and look at their ERAs, I mean, this is bottom 50 starters of the league ERAs, all over 4 except Dustin May, who was injured for the latter half of this year. So I'm curious at what they're going to do in free agency in the offseason. I think they're going to have to pick up a guy to be that starter that they're missing, and I think they will, but that is just something interesting to note, that I think long term they fill a role they need, but short term I still have questions. So keep your eye out for the Dodgers and what they decide to do this offseason, in probably more likely than not signing a ace for the 2024 season. I just wanted to make this video to show you how poor you really are in the grand scheme of things, and how if you would have played baseball and played baseball well growing up, you may be in Ohtani's position, but you're not. So have fun at your 9 to 5 today, and we will see you next time on the Green Beans Go channel.